Arr! Ahoy, mateys! Welcome aboard. This is your captain, Steven Sachs, your host of Bourbon Bay Talks, and I have a special episode for you guys today. Sorry, I can't do that any longer. But yeah, I just wanted to welcome you guys to a special episode of Bourbon Bay Talks, where we'll be talking about the Gasparilla pirate invasion in 2022. As we welcome back this awesome parade, our fantastic parade that Tampa loves to host every year, and it's been on hiatus for the last 2 years. So yeah, we're bringing it back and enjoying this amazing time. It's Tampa's celebration that starts off in January, starting off with the pirate invasion, where the Jose Gaspar comes and invades down the channel and invades Tampa Bay. This year we had to change it a little bit, starting off in the port of Tampa, sailing around Davis Island or Harbor Island, and then making its way to the convention center because of the wind and the weather. It was a little chilly that day. But yeah, it's an amazing little parade. It's actually the second longest parade in the United States. And it got its start back in 1904 with the Mistic crew of Gasparilla that did their invasion to help to promote the May Day parade. And it was at the Tampa Bay Hotel where they had their coronation ball in the dining room of the hotel. And yeah, this parade likes to involve the entire community. As you saw earlier, we had the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department and the Tampa Fire Department. And here you have the mayor of Tampa, Jane Castor. And the pirates love to try to get the key from her. And the mayor's previous, so where they love to come and invade. And it starts in about mid-January. The festivities starting off with the pirates try to sneak in, coerce, plunder, and try to get the mayor to give them the key of the city and invade Tampa. And the mayor had a double agent this year with her mayor dog, Desta, where she was a pirate and helped to lead the pirates to try to get the key, but little did the pirates know that they were being tricked. So, yeah, we're going to kind of start off by talking a little bit about the history of the Gasparilla Parade and where the story kind of comes from. There's a couple different myths out there, this one being from News Channel 8. We had, the story goes is that Jose Gaspar was a Spanish aristocrat who in the 1780s was in the Spanish Navy, and basically after fighting in the wars with the British and the pirates off of the shores of Tripoli, basically got tired of all the battles and convinced a number of his crew to mutiny. And they killed the captain and any of those who did not join them, and basically took this ship down to the Caribbean and the Spanish controlled or territory of Florida, and settled in the island of Charlotte, where he set up their base. And basically from that point on, he terrorized the entire west coast of Florida and the Caribbean till about his death in 1820. Another story goes is that, he, as part of a Spanish aristocrat and joining the Navy, he basically rose to the ranks of admiral, fighting many battles with the Spanish Navy, and again got tired of the whole, I guess you could say, Navy career. Basically stole the ships and sailed to Florida, where again he settled on the port of Charlotte, and like we said, he terrorized the entire west coast of Florida, and where they plundered, they took all the, they basically plundered, raided all the ships, and basically was getting close to his retirement, and he was 65 years old, was going to split his treasure with his crew. But before that, they saw what they thought was a ship that was a rich British merchant ship, but it turned out to be an undercover U.S. Navy vessel. And they got into a big fight, and Jose Gaspar lost his life in that. And so they say that his treasure is somewhere buried along the western coast of Florida, has yet to ever been found. So yeah, those are some of the tales that this story kind of comes from, and where we got our tradition for this parade. And yeah, the Mistic Krewe is the major crew that throws this parade on every year. And like I said, it starts off in about mid-January with those little theatrics with trying to get the key from the mayor. And then it's, I think, the first or second Saturday of January, they have the Children's Pirate Parade that goes down Bayshore. And then this parade, which is the major parade, the Pirate Invasion, starting off with the Jose Gaspar sailing into downtown Tampa at the Tampa Convention Center and capturing the mayor and taking the key. And then the parade happens. This happens about like the last weekend of January. And we recently, just as of this past Saturday, which that was the 12th, we had the Night of Santiago parade, which is the parade that, yeah, and actually I'm going to let you guys listen to this band real quick. So hold on one sec. So I hope you guys enjoyed that little band. As I said, this parade involves everybody in the community, from high schools in town to different departments of the city, to companies that love to participate, and other major crews. Like, there are about over 100 floats in this parade. And there's, each ones have different crews. Like the ones that started everything, of course, was the Mistic Krewe of Gasparilla back in 1904. And they've been the ones that have carried on this tradition since then. There have been several times throughout history that the parade has stopped due to major world events, such as World War I, World War II, the Spanish influenza pandemic, and then of course just recently this last global pandemic we just had. And yeah, this then does carry in a lot of different things that go around it, not just the parade. There's coronation balls, there's other little balls that like to happen around. There's actually distance classics like marathons that happen. So yeah, it's just like a whole month event that just Tampa loves to celebrate and enjoy this time of year. There's also what kind of happened only recently in the last couple of years is the Gasparilla Music Festival, which is going on right now in the area. And yeah, so all this tradition has basically a great showcase for the city of Tampa, and it's just a really fun event. And yeah, kind of going back to the ship invasion, that started back in 1911, was the first ever ship invasion that occurred in Tampa. And then the first ever ship that was built for Tampa, that was in 1937, and that was the Jose Gasparilla 1. And that ship lasted basically until about 1951, where it was retired in a ceremony called the Unseaworthy. And then a new ship, the Jose Gasparilla 2, came in 1954. And that ship basically sailed on the 50th anniversary of the parade. And then you had the Krewe of Neptune that was started back, I think, in the 40s. That's another of the big crews. And then also the Krewe of Venus. That one was started in 1966. And then in 1976, the parade was actually moved from where it used to be near downtown Tampa and near the Florida State Fairgrounds area to its current location, where it has been ever since. In 1976, it was moved to the Bayshore Boulevard. And that's where it became known as America's second longest parade. And here you guys see, this is the Krewe of Santiago. So they just threw the parade on Saturday the 12th. And if you guys ever get a chance, that's in Ybor. And it is one crazy place. Do you like to go people watch? That is definitely a place to go people watch. You see some interesting things. And yeah, definitely kind of going back to the basis of this show with the spirits. As we've always seen in the whole Hollywood lore of pirates, they're always drinking their rum or, and getting drunk, which, yes, that definitely happens for sure when you're raiding ships and stealing people or stealing gold and killing people. Yeah, you probably want to be a little drunk. And since back then, too, you couldn't drink the water and you risked having like cholera, scurvy. And so rum and alcoholic spirits were definitely the safer choice back then, even though they weren't always the healthiest. So always please people, drink responsibly. But yeah, but you kind of have to feel that, look, I mean, it wasn't just rum, even though rum during that time frame from the 1700s to about the 1800s, where pirates were very prevalent in the Caribbean, and in that area of the Caribbean, rum was king. Many of the Caribbean islands, and especially Florida, were definitely big areas where rum was prevalent. But you definitely have to believe, especially since New Orleans was not that far away, and that was a major port for whiskey, that, you have a feeling that some of these pirates, weren't always a fan of rum. That they probably enjoyed some little whiskey as well. And I mean, it definitely wasn't the whiskey that we enjoy today, as we know. Probably at most, you're talking whiskey that was aged about 3 months in barrels. It was shipped from Kentucky down the Mississippi to New Orleans. And of course, with rectifiers always adding some interesting stuff to it, you have to feel like, yeah, it probably wasn't the best tasting stuff in the world, but you definitely feel like the pirates were drinking it. Especially after the raiding a ship, they had to have a, little drink, and rum, I'm sure, wasn't always available, and I'm sure it was definitely very expensive too at that time. So yeah, whiskey was probably definitely a big choice. And this is definitely a parade that its major sponsors, the Hard Rock, and then of course Tito's is a major sponsor of them, as well as Captain. Just to kind of name a few of the sponsors. And yeah, so if you ever been to the night or the Gasparilla parade or have not, I definitely highly recommend you guys go. It is a fun event. This was my third parade I'd ever been to. It's probably by far the coldest parade we had. But yeah, I mean, after some time drinking and then enjoying it, being out there among people was really fun, and the coldest didn't really bother you. Oh yeah, my libation of choice was some Cleveland whiskey and Coca-Cola, which you will probably see a little later in the video. My concoction, typically like to just kind of pour out a little bit of the Coca-Cola 2-liter and then pour in some whiskey. And trust me, it does last a little while, and definitely enjoyed it. But yeah, so basically the parade, yep, there we go right there. As you can see, my little libation. But yeah, and you just get all these people that come out, they get their beads. And the throwing of beads for the parade actually, I think, started back in the early 60s, from what I remember. And as I said earlier, we do have a lot of people that come out and are basically participating in the parade. Like, here's the Tampa Bay Lightning, 2-time Stanley Cup champions. And one of these lovely people on the parade actually gave me a puck with the logo, and that you see right there was the jersey that the Tampa Bay Lightning wore that evening. They had a game that night against the Las Vegas Golden Knights, and the pregame warm-ups, they were wearing these special Gasparilla jerseys. Like I said, the sports teams love to get involved in it. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers were one of the first floats. And then the Tampa Bay Lightning love to get involved, and both teams typically always have some kind of events going on. Last couple of years there was the the All-Star game that was back in Tampa for the second time, actually occurred the same weekend as the Gasparilla celebration. So Tampa really got to showcase itself to the NHL with the Gasparilla parade and all the festivities that were involved with it. And so, yeah, people really got to see the great times that Tampa enjoys and our great celebrations. And there's also been times where, there's been the Super Bowl, which has happened here in Tampa a number of times. And it's been on the same time. I think it was only a couple of years ago that we had the Super Bowl here recently with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers winning that. And it was also close to the same time that they did have, I think they did do a little parade, a special parade for that, because it was supposed to be around the time of the Gasparilla celebration. But due to the pandemic, it did not happen. So, they definitely wanted to showcase, Tampa. And this definitely showcases our pride, our culture, and many of the different community events, because a lot of these guys with these crews, they definitely do a lot of great community events and charities. Like I said, with the distance classics that happen, the public sponsors those, and they definitely help raise money for charities around the community. You definitely it's all a great celebration. You get all these crews involved. Like, here's a crew of Shamrock, a little Irish. I love the Irish. So it's just a big celebration where people love to go out, drink, and have a good time, enjoy the community. So it was great to have this come back this year after 2 years of absence, and to be a part of it. So definitely a fun event, and I'd highly recommend, if you get a chance to ever come, if you're in Tampa during this time of year, which again is usually between January and March, to definitely go out and experience this. It's definitely a fun and unique event here to Tampa. I mean, you could say it's like Tampa's Mardi Gras, but I think we're a little bit better. No offense, New Orleans. But and you just get these different crews, and we saw some crews that come from different parts of the state. Like, we saw the crew from the Conch Republic, which of course is Key West, and here you have the crew of St. Augustine, which of course we know is one of Florida's oldest cities and the country's oldest city, continuously settled city. And people just go all out for this. So, you get bunch of people dressing up in pirate outfits and throwing beads, and you try to get as many beads as you can. So definitely I would say, if you ever get a chance to come to this event, do it. It's very fun. Before I forget to say this, and I know this has just been a bunch of rambling and jumbling, but it is Super Bowl weekend, so I might have started a little early. Kidding. So this is like some of the different crews that we have. Like, this is F Troop, and of course these commemorate historical, infantry. And then the one big one beyond the Mistic crew of Santiago and the Mistic crew of Gasparilla is also the Rough Riders, and they'll be coming up here shortly. And they're one of the biggest crews out there, but they commemorate the regiment that Teddy Roosevelt formed during the Spanish-American War. And why that is such a big part of the Tampa Bay community is that Tampa was the headquarters for the Spanish-American War. This is where all the troops gathered before they shipped down to Cuba and the Caribbean to fight in the war. Teddy Roosevelt was stationed here at the Hotel Tampa Bay, which is now, of course, the University of Tampa. And so he had his regiment of all volunteers. They were stationed here, and of course, we all know in the history books, they fought on the battle for the San Juan Hill. Of course, if you actually really take a look at the history, it's actually Cattle Hill, but hey, when you win the battles, you get to write your history. But yeah, so the Rough Riders commemorate that legacy of Tampa with the Rough Rider regiment, and it's a very, just they've been around for a very long time, and they do a lot of great work in the community. There's also the Buffalo Soldiers, which of course that commemorates the U.S. Army regiment that was members of were all black, and here they are right now. And so yeah, and they've played a huge role in our country's history, from fighting many in the Indian Wars during the Civil War, and then also they played a major role in being the enforcers to protect our nation's parks, which I don't know if many of you knew that, but yeah, they were actually one of the first park rangers. And there was one of the famous Buffalo Soldiers was actually in charge of the Yosemite National Park out in California, where their job was to make sure that people did not violate the rules of the national park, such as grazing animals in those parks, trying to poach or hunt in those parks. And so yeah, they did an amazing job as our nation's first park rangers, and have a very long, proud history that, of course, we commemorate with that crew that is in the parade. And yeah, so it's just a great celebration that does showcase what Tampa is all about, and what we try to, and like we did get different companies that come out. Like here's one bike that is the group that basically provides bikes for people to basically ride around the different cities, such as St. Pete or Tampa, and you do pay a fee for those bikes. But yeah, and it's just a great way to kind of get around the cities when you don't want to be driving. And then here's a group the Crew of Valor, which recognizes our soldiers and honors our soldiers. And here, as I was talking to you about, here are the Rough Riders as they make their way down. And again, they are probably one of the largest crews in the parade, where they have at least probably about 2 to 3 or 4 floats. And they are definitely a big group that comes along. And yeah, and of course you all see these little hijinks with people getting like little palm fronds so they can catch beads. That's what that thing is. You guys keep seeing. But yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed this little special video. I wanted to kind of do something a little bit different in showcasing, some of the culture of Tampa, some of our things, and it does relate a little bit that, hey, it's one big drinking festival that does showcase us. And, you definitely have to say that those pirates had some whiskey in their hands. But yeah, so I hope you guys enjoy. And if you like this episode and if you like my channel, definitely go ahead and subscribe and smash that like button for me. If you guys got any questions or comments about this video or any of my videos, please put them down in the comments. Be happy to get back to them as soon as I can. Yeah, and real quick little bit, you do see there's Teddy Roosevelt's picture on the side of the float. And yeah, there's and each of these floats have different music or DJs on there, so it's a great way to kind of just party, enjoy life, and just have a good time. But yeah, kind of getting back to things, if you guys liked it, I hope you enjoy. And as always, please subscribe. I appreciate all the support. I appreciate all my community who have joined me so far, all my subscribers. And as always, guys, if you're going to have a drink, have it with me, an ushkabehe. And I hope you guys kind of enjoy the rest of this little video. Yeah, just trying out some new things, and wanted to kind of take a little bit different approach and showcase what an amazing event that the Gasparilla Parade in Tampa is. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, smash that like button. And here's the crew of Mistic crew of Gasparilla, the originals. So these are the ones that started the parade. Yeah, and I hope you guys enjoy. And thank you so much for everything. And give me a subscribe. And have a good one. Wishkabehe, cheers.